Today we have an uncharacteristic launch video. Usually this channel will be filled with interviews with famous masters, grandmasters, athletes and coaches from around the world. However, recently our club purchased some electronic protectors from Korea and the world seems itching to know about them. So here's a review. The Zemita electronic body protectors, or Hogu as they're known in Korean, are a fairly new product and go in a different direction to the other more well-known electronic protectors. For example, you've had Dado and KP&P that are World Taekwondo approved and used in major international competitions. However, they're very expensive, costing over $1,500 for a pair of Dado Hogu plus the transmitters, receivers that you need to use them. Also, you need to buy a laptop to be able to run the software on it. The other type of Hogu are the ones intended just for fun in your dojang. The most hyped one at the moment is probably the American 2020 armor, which costs about $900 for a pair of them. The scoring system is built into these Hogu. They don't require electronic socks that contain magnets, unlike the KP&P and Dado systems, but they also aren't approved for competition. That's fine, for most dojang in the world, 90% of your students won't compete, so a system like that works for you. It's a bit of fun, adds a little bit of depth to sparring training when students can see if kicks score or not. Zemita definitely fits into this category of the more fun, dojang based, rather than the competition approved category. It differs from the 2020 system in two key ways. Number one is that the shoulder straps seem more standard, like other Hogu, compared to the 2020 straps. The second way is that it requires an iOS tablet or an Android tablet to act as the scoreboard. In our case, the tablet is a cheap Samsung Galaxy Tab E, costing just over 100 UK pounds, which is about 130 US dollars on Amazon. The advantage of having the scoring done externally to the Hogu is that there are many other things you can do with the same hardware, for example games, as well as using it for scoring sparring. The transmitters are connected to the back of the Hogu in a similar way to the Dado system or KP&P system. A small flap covers the connector. In Zemita's case, this is a simple jack connection. These are then in our case paired with the Android tablet. The owners of Zemita warned us that they may not work with cheap Android tablets, but given that we could return it under UK law within a quick period, it was worth a try. The Galaxy Tab E so far is performing flawlessly for us. Zemita also advised us that the Android software is slightly more advanced than the iOS software. So, if you want the full experience of all of the games, we'd recommend using Android. Once the transmitters are paired, you can play a number of games. Here's an example of two of our child students racing to see who can land 10 kicks the fastest. This is great fun and really drives the competitive spirit. For our older children and adults, they love seeing who can react the fastest to a colour change and sound. The kicks still need to score above a certain power threshold to count, so you can set this to require fast and powerful or just pure reaction speed. Of course, what most people will use it for is sparring. At the moment, it works really quite well. The only downsides are that accidental contact, for example bumps when in the clinch, or, as seen here, falling over, can score, and that the points are scored old style. 1 point for body contact and 3 points for head kicks. These are manually scored by tapping the top third of the tablet. A lot of the accidental contact scoring can be reduced by setting the threshold to score higher. But obviously this means requiring your non-competitive students having to kick each other much harder. Overall, with a current price of just under 2,700 US dollars for 12 Hogu and 2 transmitters, it's a really great price. We ordered a few extra transmitters just so that we'd have spares fully charged and ready to go. But in reality, the batteries last really well in the transmitters. If you wanted to buy the 2020 armor, 12 Hogus would cost about $5,400, and 12 Dado Hogu would be even more. The quality of the Hogu's manufacture seems to be excellent, and the variety of games available are really good, with more being added all the time. The only 3 areas I would really change are firstly to make each side of the Hogu have 3 loops instead of 2, and make each loop be doubled over and stitched again to make them more secure. Here you can see that the bottom Zemita Hogu has 2 loops, and they are single thickness material. The older Adidas one had 3 loops, but because the bottom one being single material thickness, it ripped over time. Adidas then changed the bottom one to be double thickness, and more modern designs such as J Calico have all 3 loops be double thickness and stitched stronger. The second thing would be just to ensure that the Velcro attached to the back of the Hogu is entirely stitched down. At the moment, it's only the centre part around the connection that's stitched. It feels like when you're attaching and removing the transmitters often, at some point the Velcro would get ripped off the Hogu easily. The third point I would improve, and probably the easiest to solve, would be to have the body shot score 2 points by default and the headshot score 4 points, more in line with current World Taekwondo scoring. Maybe it would be easier to make these configurable in the software. Overall, in line with expecting these to be a fun piece of kit for use in the dojang, rather than as preparation for elite competitors, they're great value for money, great quality, and they work really well. We'd certainly recommend them. Other videos on this channel will mostly be interviews, but please give us a like, subscribe, follow us on social media, and please share this video with your friends, training partners and instructors. We'd appreciate you helping us to get the word out. Thank you. Have a great day.